Good morning, everyone. We're here today with Gordon Sauer with Hill Country Titles, who is celebrating its 50th anniversary in business. And as fellow chamber members, you know how challenging the business world can be, so 50 years is quite an accomplishment. Gordon, thanks so much for taking the time to visit with us today and share some of your insights. I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and we would love to hear your wisdom from 50 years of experience as a business owner. So it's a delight to help you celebrate this anniversary. Can you share a little history of how you got started here at Hill Country Titles?
Well, sure. Thank you, Penny. It's a pleasure to visit with you today. Yes, I'd returned to Fredericksburg in 1969 after law school and was in my second year of law practice, and I received a call from Arthur Staling one morning. Arthur was president of Security Bank, one outstanding transactional attorney, and really became my mentor. And he called me one day and said that Mr. Klingelhoefer wanted to sell his abstract plant. And he told me what Mr. Klingelhoefer wanted for the plant, the abstract plant. And by the way, I don't know where the name plant ever came from, because it's basically 3x5 card files. And I said, he said, if you want to buy his abstract company, the bank will lend you the money. So a month later, I owned an abstract plant and got started in the title insurance business. And in those early years, in addition to being a transactional attorney, which was a primary practice that I was engaged in, I was also the sole employee of the title company. I did all the title examinings and then, of course, the closings and fundings. So we started from the beginning.
Outstanding. And I really love that you mentioned the role of mentorship in business, because we all know that's such a powerful opportunity we all have for one another. It's hard for me to imagine the volume of change that you've witnessed over 5 decades. What are some of the most significant shifts you have experienced, and how did your company evolve to respond to them?
Well, several changes that I've observed over the years. I think the first and most significant change was that the real estate industry was very seasonal until about 20 years ago. Our main buying season was late spring and summer. So we had around 4 months out of the year that we had, I would say, good activity in the real estate market. That started changing around 20 years ago, and definitely 15 years ago. We saw seasonality just vanish from the scene. And with the exception of maybe occasionally in the month of February, we started seeing strong months pop up all year long. It could be December, it could be March, just any month. So we saw seasonality vanish. The other thing that we of course have seen is a major change is just pricing. Our prices, not only on our homes and residences in the community and the city, but just the raw land, the properties up and down 290, we've seen prices increase dramatically, especially over the past 10 years and especially over the past 5 years. We've also seen volume increase. The number of transactions that are occurring we've seen significant growth. Just as an example, and quite to my surprise, even in the past 4 months, on average, we probably handle 12 to 1,400 transactions a year here. We project, if things continue on as they have the past 7 months, that we could be at 1,700 or 1,800 transactions this year. So a very significant growth in the number of transactions, and with all of that occurring with COVID-19, I'm actually stunned and amazed. But those have been big changes. We, of course, have seen changes in technology that we have embraced to better serve our customers, and especially to more securely protect their funds. There's a lot of fraud, hacking going on, and so a lot of technology has emerged in the past 5 years, and we've embraced that. So those are, I would say, the major changes, besides just the growth in the number of employees that we have in our organization today, which by the end of this week will probably be 23 or 24 employees, whereas I was the only one in the beginning.
Well, that's quite a growth pattern, and I appreciate the job opportunities that you created and just the economy that you're generating as even one sole business owner to make that kind of employment is really impressive. One of the things I know about you, Gordon, is you and members of your team have always been really active in the community. Why is that important for you as a business owner?
Well, I think the history of that is I've always been interested in leadership. I reflected a little bit upon that this morning, and actually after thinking about it, leadership started with me actually with the Boy Scouts. I was in Troop 132 at Doss, a small little country Boy Scout troop. Per capita, we had more Eagle Scouts than any other troop in the state of Texas. And so I had leadership opportunities there. I had leadership opportunities during high school, particularly with FFA events. I was an officer and participated in conventions. I had a lot of leadership opportunities at Texas A&M and then also in law school. So when I came back to Fredericksburg, leadership, I was prepared. I had been prepared to certainly begin a life of leadership. And so then I had opportunities here in Fredericksburg in the community to do that. And it's important, it's always been important, but it's really important when I reflect upon how wonderful, how great this community has been to me, to our organization, to my family. It's a wonderful, wonderful place, and I believe strongly that it deserves to have the involvement of people who are called to leadership roles. And I've enjoyed that. As you know, I've been active, very active for many, many years, and certainly in the beginning, the hard years at the Admiral Nimitz Center. I've had involvement with the Historical Society, particularly developing our new nice West Main Street point of entry, and then, as you know, Penny, the hospital. It was a real privilege to serve on the board there and serve as board chair, which I know you're doing at this time. So it's important because communities need leadership. I seem to have been called to some extent to serve in that role.
Well, Gordon, one of the places that you've also invested leadership talent is in the chamber itself. Why are you a chamber member?
I'll enjoy sharing this story with you, Penny, and you'll personally appreciate it. I've been a chamber member for 51 years. When I returned to Fredericksburg in '69, I joined the Chamber of Commerce immediately. That was probably one of the first things I did after I opened my office. Probably during my second year, your dad, who was president of the Chamber of Commerce at that time, called me and asked me if I'd be willing to serve on the Chamber board. I quickly and readily agreed. I had a lot of enthusiasm. There was not very many young people returning to Fredericksburg at that time, so the leaders who had been there, like your dad for years, they were eager and welcomed any new blood that could come in the community. So I agreed to serve, and I think probably after your dad may have been Donald Dittmar served as president, and then I followed him. So I think within 3 years after your dad asked me to come on the chamber board, I served as president of the chamber and have been a supporter of the chamber ever since. The chamber has done an outstanding job, and I would even go so far as to say under your leadership, the chamber has done an outstanding job in promoting the business community, the cultural community here in Fredericksburg, and of course has received a number of awards and achievements for good work. So for me, being part of the chamber, it's a no-brainer. There's really no other option.
Well, we certainly appreciate the support for 51 years, and more broadly, the support that provides to other businesses, that investment in your fellow business community. Let me shift a little bit now from the past 50 years to the future. What's next at Hill Country Titles?
Well, Penny, as a leader of this organization, my role going forward is to be involved in the personal and professional growth of our members. I thrive on personal growth on the part of our members. That just drives me every day, and so that's a focal point of my leadership here in the organization, seeing our people thrive, grow personally, professionally. When that is accomplished, or being accomplished, the company itself cannot help but grow. It grows automatically as the individual members grow. So that's really my role going forward. We will continue to strive. Our mission is to provide a customer-first experience in all transactions. That's occasionally very difficult, but that is our goal. And in order to do that requires continued personal and professional growth on the part of our members. And so my role will be to lead them, to walk alongside, and for them to have a very, very wonderful and fulfilling job fulfillment and a work life here at Hill Country Titles. We're very pro-family here, and so that's also greatly appreciated by our members.
Well, on behalf of the Fredericksburg Chamber of Commerce and all of its members, let me congratulate you, Gordon, and your team here at Hill Country Titles on 50 years in business, and wish you many, many more. Thanks for taking the time today to share some of your wisdom and insights.
It's my pleasure, and thank you, Penny, for the work and the contribution you make to